Hey, this is Don Kryptonium. Welcome 2024. Today what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss perpetual trading markets, futures. We are going to discuss how DYDX might be losing market share. We're going to look into absolutely shiny star of the markets, Hyperliquid, Tendermint based chain. Not many knows that. And what might potentially come in the future to this highly competitive space. Before we start, make sure you like this video, you share this video, you love this video. Hey, come on, support Don Kryptonium. And let's start it right now. So a few things I wanted to cover today. It's easy discussion. I don't want to edit this, We know that DYDX launched the chain. We knew this for a year that they are coming, right? And within this year, back a year ago, DYDX was pretty much only one perp decentralized trading platform out there. There wasn't really much competition, okay? Now, January 1st, 2024, we have a lot of competition on DYDX tail. We have Hyperliquid, which is my favorite perps exchange that is out there, and not many know. I even spoke to many cosmonauts. They don't know it is actually highly modified Tendermint. Shout out to Jake Wan, the inventor of Tendermint, one of the most important piece of technology in crypto. We have Vertex, obviously. We have Degens Bet, which is slightly different. There is perps trading on base layer 2. So every day we have new platforms popping out, and which one of them will win? Because perps generate a lot of fees. So I think this is really interesting market. And I was expecting a little bit more of DYDX, but I was looking into some stats recently, and I started to thinking as many DEXs went 10x within last months when it comes to volume, when it comes to open interest, DYDX not really growing that fast. And obviously, it can be due that they were already sizable, but they have pretty much similar volumes that they had a year ago in the peak of the bear market. So what is happening? Are people moving to different chains, to different platforms to trade? We are going to look into this. So first of all, I want to show you the very rapid growth of Hyperliquid. And this is not, trying to shit on one platform to show and shut out different platform. This is just pure stats that we are doing here, okay? So I was looking at the stats of the Hyperliquid, and when we hit 3 months, look what happened. Like 3 months ago, around October, the open interest on the exchange was 5-6 millions, okay? The volumes on that exchange, well, we had the peak at 60 million one day. That was probably a volatile day, but it was like 20 million, even sub 20 million, not much happening. Fast forward, less than 3 months later, okay, Hyperliquid goes with an open interest of nearly $100 million and pulls the volumes of roughly 300 average, I would say, lately. Today slightly less. This is 1st of January, the highest over $600 million of the volume. So we have this rapid growth. And there is also a few others having this rapid growth. And I was also looking at the Hyperliquid V4, Hyperliquid chain, not Hyperliquid chain, DYDX stats, so this is new. So this is new pairs popping. And this is very similar to what DYDX V4 is doing, and DYDX4 has lower open interest. One thing that's different, DYDX has less pairs and has less leverage, and I think the success of Hyperliquid that is here is due to the experimental pairs that people love. And this is exactly why I love using Hyperliquid. I wanted to short bonk, and I did this because Hyperliquid allowed me to do this with like 10 or 20x. We can even see the bonk now. Okay, 10x is the max on bonk, so Hyperliquid is fast moving. It taps into these very new experimental markets. There was trending meme coin, dog with hat. Hyperliquid was the one that listed this, that allowed people to trade it. But even if we look into TIA, which is Celestia coin for the past 24 hours, which is obviously the modular Cosmos chain. And when we look at the volume and open interest, okay, nearly $7 million volume and over $4 million of open interest. So let's go to DYDX, which is also Cosmos chain, right? And let's find Celestia. And let me adjust this a little bit more. So open interest on Celestia, roughly $500,000, while volume is also $500,000. Hyperliquid absolutely dominates all of the other pairs except Bitcoin and Ethereum. So DYDX seems to be platform for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for more of the, how to say, for the pairs more for mature people, for the people who already secured their life, who have investments into index funds. This seems to be more for these people. Well, really, Hyperliquid is impressive. Even when we go to Sol, 24 hours volume, 20 million open interest, 10 million, they're absolutely crushing all of that. And I'm really following closely Hyperliquid because to me, when it comes to user experience, this is truly the best platform. It allows for high leverage as well on many different pairs. And maybe the reason why people choose to trade so much, there is this points now on Hyperliquid. So I'm not connected on this wallet, okay? I don't want to dox myself. So this is potential airdrop, and it started on November 1st, I think. So at the beginning of November, you can actually see there was not much trading volume, and I was providing the liquidity to one of the vaults, to the market maker vaults on Hyperliquid. So this is another great point that we have about Hyperliquid, and we will talk to this. So in the first week, I got quite a lot of points. I see that I get now much less points, which means there is way more users right now on Hyperliquid than there was 2 months ago. Okay, the really great thing about Hyperliquid is vaults. So as I said, I was providing like 20 something K to this Hyperliquidity provider. So it provides Hyperliquid, it provides liquidity, it performs liquidations, it does market making strategies. So it was like break even, but I got like a lot of points. I landed in top 150, I think, just providing liquidity to this one. So this is the protocol vault, but users like you, like me, can create the vaults on this platform. So you create the vault, and people can deposit USDC to this vault, and you will be getting some profits from your trades if you are good traders. So there is a lot of different vaults of the users. Not that long ago, there was not many of them, okay? And one thing that's really important talking about Hyperliquid, you go from the Arbitrum side, but Hyperliquid, it's its own layer 1, and it's in fact one of the fastest ones. It's modified Tendermint that can perform 20,000 transactions per second, so it's designed from the start to be the trading protocol. Of course, there is competition. There is DYDX, but also injective exchanges are not as popular, despite the blockchain being really popular. They don't drive the same volumes as DYDX or Hyperliquid. Also, we have Say that doesn't have perps platforms yet, but I know SushiSwap wanted to build something. It was announced long ago, so probably from Say we are going to have more competition as well. But for now, as I said, Hyperliquid, Tendermint chain, which was modified to be even 20 times faster, and that probably will launch as its own network at some point. So if you are into Cosmos and you don't know what's happening, they will have probably the set of validators at some point from outside of that core, Yes, I'm educating many Cosmos validators now that they will probably launch one day. But there is other things, I think a lot of risky platforms like DGensBet, I hold winner myself. So I'm looking at the stats, that's let me look at the volumes that winners. So Degen's bet is a little bit different. Hyperliquid is more for professional traders. Well, not only professional traders. I'm amateur, or maybe I'm professional. I'm just Degening. But Degen's bet offer the trading between the 100 to 1000x leverage. So it's absolute degeneracy, right? And when you look week to week, how the volumes also goes. Of course, that's in relation that we had a kind of bull month in December, but you can see massive growth as well day to day. They hit actually nearly 50 million volume. And this is also another thing why, because they have a lot of these very experimental markets, They listed Bonk, they listed Pepe, but soon after there was Jito airdrop. They enable this for trading, okay? They enable Grail, which is not as liquid as many of these, to allow people trading. They have AVAX, they have GMX. They also have Celestia, allowing you trading Celestia with up to 1000x leverage. So I think a lot of these more conservative platforms might get swollen by the platforms that are not afraid to risk, that are on the forefront of what is happening with the trends in crypto, with the trends on Twitter. Okay, that's my thesis, and I'm looking into those platforms because I think the games will be really interesting there. I know Hyperliquid, which makes me even more bullish. They were planning to do NFT perps. They were thinking about Milady. I think I know there was a picture of Milady. So there is some of the NFTs that are fairly liquid to allow perp trading. I don't think that would be high, but quite likely they might be one of the first. Surely most popular would be to enable that. So that's discussion about the perps. Of course, there is more. I know there is Kujira coming with the perps, so I'm curious what they're coming with to actually find their own niche within this competition. Because surely DYDX will be for Bitcoin, Ethereum. Hyperliquid will dominate the other pairs. I see Degen's bet dominating this also high leverage risk assets. What others deliver? What Kujira will offer that will be unique for the users? And with that, Happy New Year. Don Cryptoniums out. Till the next time.